Good morning, welcome to Zurich. I love these days. I get a call from Longines saying, we have a new CEO, we want you to speak to him, and we have a new Spirit collection that's launching today. I get a feeling, before just my little pre-game feeling, I get a feeling Longines is listening. These new Spirit watches are smaller, they're slimmer, they have better finishing than ever. They have those movements that we love from Longines, but now in a better package. I'm going to ask the new CEO, whose hands are on the steering wheel of this brand, what's to come, and we're going to get to the heart of why Longines, I'm going to use an aviation reference now, should be on your radar if they're not already. Let's go. Before we get to the interview, you have to give a shout out to this boutique, which opened last night. It's one of the biggest Longines boutiques in the world here in Zurich on the Bahnhofstrasse. Beautiful 19th century building. Interesting way of displaying the watches. You can touch them over here on this wall. Enough of that. There is a very important date waiting for me out the back in a pretty impressive space. It's a living garden. Let's get out there. Patrick.
Andrew, welcome.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Longines team captain, Mr. Patrick Aoun.
That's right.
Thank you for having us here. It's a jungle. It's a jungle out there, as they say.
We are right now at the new Longines boutique in Zurich on Bahnhofstrasse Street. It's a destination. It's our new boutique, flagship store, and we are very proud of it. And you're very welcome to this exceptional experience with us today, Andrew.
It's likely you love Longines as much as I do. And the opportunity to speak candidly for a long period of time with the captain, the CEO of Longines, is a great opportunity. And I'm leaving nothing on the field today, Patrick. I want to know all about you. I want to know how you got here. I want to know the plan.
Yeah.
And to get straight into it, tell me what excites you about being the team captain?
Yeah, well, to begin with, maybe I give you a bit of a background. I've been with Longines for 18 years, Andrew.
Yeah.
And you know, when you live the brand for 18 years, it's because there is some love down there, right? Mm-hmm. You feel love, you feel the connection, you feel the emotional connection. And to me, it started just like that. It started with curiosity, wanting to understand, and it grew into a real love story and appreciation because Longines has a lot to offer. But we're going to discuss a little bit more about that in details. Yes.
And I said, can we get some watches on trays?
Of course.
And Patrick just brought all the goods to the yard. There's some interesting watches here. There's some new watches.
Yep.
There's a watch that sums you up as a person, if you were to be one watch. So we're going to get into these watches in front of us. But let's get back to that point around your history with Longines and where the brand is now.
Yes.
Because, you know, traditionally this brand has been as high as the 4th biggest brand in the world.
Yep.
Traditionally, you're the 2nd biggest brand in the Swatch Group for sales and revenue. Where are we now?
So we are, I can assure you, we are still leaders in our price segment. And I have no intention of changing that, but rather reinforcing it. So my personal main mission is to really take Longines and reinforce Longines' position as leading brand in our own price segment. So this is where we are today. I think today we are in a stage where, yes, the world is changing, there's a lot happening, but we have a lot of opportunities too. Mm-hmm. When things are changing, it's not always negative. Yeah. Change, to me, is opportunity. Mm-hmm. And therefore, we have the heritage, the depth that we can use into really exploring these opportunities to the best of our abilities.
Yeah. To me, there is just this eternal authenticity about the brand that when you visit the museum and you see the contributions Longines has made to sport and sports timekeeping and aviation and adventure and even the Olympics in other eras, you just can't deny that timekeeping can have a bigger place than simply being a product category. It can have a bigger place in history than simply being beautiful, shiny things that people bought. What are the parts of this brand where you feel the real heat?
I'll tell you, for me, it's really 3 main pillars that makes what Longines is today. One is our history in professional timekeeping. And I tell you, this is very important. 2, professional instruments for pilots, aviators, explorers. 3, the pillar of elegance. We've done elegant watches since forever. And therefore, but very important to say that our expertise in professional timekeeping, plus doing professional instruments, paved the way to innovative solutions in watchmaking. Yeah. And that is where Longines is today. Thanks to our legacy, history, and expertise, we are in a very strong position. It's not by chance, Andrew. Take, let's say, the rotating bezel. Simple example. Well, the rotating bezel started with cockpit instruments provided by Longines. Maybe the conception of a lot of people that rotating bezel started with diver watches. That's not true. Rotating bezel started with Longines, and it was Longines that brought it to the watch industry. That is one of many examples of stories that we can tell.
I've got another one for you. The Flyback chronograph.
Yes.
It was invented in 1930 and patented in 35.
And then 1936, I think, is a date everybody should remember, because 1936 was the year when the famous 13ZN movement was launched, the Flyback movement by Longines. And why Flyback is such an important matter? Because it mattered to pilots. Let's not forget, we're talking 100 years ago, Andrew, where there was no GPS. All they relied on were their tools. Yeah. And this was a question of, I will be a little bit extreme to say, but this was a question of life and death. Because imagine, let's go a little bit in imagination, you and me. Sure. Imagine you're a pilot.
We're in a plane.
We're in a plane.
Yeah.
You're flying over an ocean for 3 hours, 4 hours. You know, time is everything. Is everything. If you have seconds, if you miss on taking the curve here or that, you can end up in a different, landing zone, let's say. And you're right, the watch that you're holding right now, and actually I'm wearing it today, is the latest edition of the Spirit Flyback. This is a Longines exclusive movement. Chronometer certified, 100-meter water resistant, magnetic resistant, up to 10 times the ISO norms, transparent case back, column wheel chronograph. The proportions, when you put it on your wrist, so the size is 39.5 millimeter with a thickness of 13.4 millimeters. So if you look at the proportions and the comfort as you wear it on your wrist. So I think this is a watch for watch lovers, for collectors, but also for an everyday person who wants something more while not breaking his bank account.
What I believe the Spirit has done to reignite my interest, and the man shooting right now, Marcus, never really understood the brand. And frankly, we'd go and shoot the watches and he'd say, there's so many different collections. I don't understand the story. There's no common thread through this. There's super tooly watches like my Aviation Big Eye that have no luxurious element. And then there are really beautiful dress watches. But I think Marcus, and I think others, have maybe struggled for a thread. But I feel that this brings the worlds together. And the Spirit, and certainly the new developments in the Spirit, have taken away any reason you might have had not to wear it. Because as I said in my video, aviation watches are traditionally not super slim because they need this robustness, and they usually have modules inside, etc. But the Spirit seems to me to summarize Longines' current development, changes, its upgrade. It went from tool watches as a category to tool watches as effectively one watches, because this watch has all of the trimmings of a luxury watch, but at the same time has the toughness, robustness, and storytelling of an adventurer's watch. What are the 3 things that you want to achieve in your first year of office? There is a perception that there is a mosaic of brands in the Swatch Group, and you stay within your lane. And I think, is your lane between Omega and Tissot or something
you can
like
say
this?
that,
How do you navigate this in terms of your own strategy for the brand if you're given these guardrails of you can't go above this price point? How dictated is this limitation to you?
It's not a question of being dictated. It's a question of making sense, complementing each other rather than competing with each other. And the mission is, in my lane, I want to dominate. Okay, so why I want to do so many things, dilute the efforts, rather than taking a lane and dominating it. And today, what I say that Longines sits in what I call a sweet spot. A sweet spot, because we give the best value for money. We give guaranteed quality, top movements at a practically unbeatable price point. Why would I change? Why would I go elsewhere? I'm very happy where I am. So to me, our positioning is perfect. What people like today has changed from what it used to be 100 years ago. Tastes have evolved. So we cannot stay stuck where we've been in the past. So for us, when we launch new products inspired from our history, it's often reinterpretations and not exact replicas, because we take into consideration the modern wearability, likability, durability, and the aesthetic element too. So not only Longines watches technically are amongst the best in our price segment, but aesthetically they are very appealing. And as you rightfully said, we mentioned about the spirit. If you look at
the difference between these two.
I'm
wearing the Aviation Big Eye.
You're wearing the Aviation Big Eye, exactly. So
vastly different.
Here you go. We see these two watches. Yes, but you see, vastly different is exactly why we do different watches, because tastes are different from one person to another. While this is a fantastic watch, the Aviation Big Eye, which won, as you know, many prizes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, here we have a manual watch on the Flyback, a manual winding watch with fantastic proportions, the black dial, the beauty of the indexes that are applied. It's a different watch. You would like both, but maybe one would speak to you more than the other.
You meant to ask me, would you like both? Yes, I would. Thank you.
Yes, definitely.
I would. They're entirely different propositions.
Absolutely.
This is something I wear on a NATO strap with autumn tones and earthy colors, and it has this gunmetal gray. And this is something truly I do not worry about bashing around. This is a dressy piece.
Exactly.
I would say this is something you could wear with a suit.
That's what I'm doing today. You see, while, for example, I would say I would have probably worn a dress watch today. Maybe I would have worn a master collection today that is more dressy, but that's the beauty of the versatility of our collections. That a Flyback watch like that, you can wear it on a t-shirt, on a suit, on a normal day. You can go out with it in the evening, and the versatility is beautiful and important in our product development strategy.
Longines has one of the most beautiful, structural, dimensional, functional, robust. It is one of the great chronograph movements ever made. Alongside the Ultra-Chron, I would say that they're the top two. The 13ZN and the Ultra-Chron are the two best chronograph movements ever. One of them is automatic, one of them is manual wound. How frustrating for you that you can't charge. But this should be the same price as a 321.
But I'll tell you why I'm not frustrated. Because it brings me great satisfaction that, between brackets, an average consumer can enjoy a piece of luxury. To me, luxury is not a tag price. To me, luxury is experience. And here, I give the full experience with my products. And therefore, why would I deprive certain customers from enjoying Swiss watchmaking at its finest in our price segment? Why would I deprive those clients?
I understand your point, and I think this watch absolutely delivers to the masses many great experiences. They get the experience of a wonderful watch in terms of the quality of the watch on the wrist, the aesthetics, the wear, the ergonomics. They also get an experience of a movement, but still it's not a 13ZN. And for you to do one, I mean, you tell me. I've been teased many times by Longines saying there may be something. I mean, you tell me, what is stopping that coming back, and is that not price point? Because to do that watch is going to cost a lot more than to do this movement.
So, Andrew, Longines is a brand. We're not looking to do 2,000 pieces per year. You know that.
I know. What is it, 1.5 million?
A lot. We do a big volume.
Yes.
And to me, volume is important. And market share is very important. Why market share is important? Because when a client can afford a 2,000 Swiss francs or a 2,500 Swiss franc watch today, take the basic Spirit Pilot 3-hand, under 2,500 Swiss francs. Okay? He will wear it, enjoy it, feel the robustness of the movement, the durability of the watch, and then a few years down the line, he'll say to himself, you know what? I deserve to go to the next level. let me buy a Flyback this time. And here we go above 4,000 Swiss francs. Let me go to an Ultra-Chron maybe.
5 hertz.
5 hertz. You see, so for me, in order to also be true to what the customers expect from us, Longines is an accessible brand. And because we're humble, we're not arrogant. We have no intention, even though we could do more expensive pieces. That's not our strategy. That's not where we want to go.
Is there a little bit of sadness about that, though?
Not at all.
Given that we have this beauty
Not
in
at
the
all.
archives.
I tell you, I promise you, not at all, because the tradition is respected. The heritage is respected. The elegance is there. You see, we don't compromise on the quality. So while we remain, and that's our strength, while we remain in our price segment, there is absolutely no compromise on the quality delivered. Absolutely no compromise. So therefore, I think we are very strong, and not many brands can be in our place. You said it. A lot of brands are probably going up in price point. Great. Better for me.
Yeah, yeah. Patrick, tell me, what percentage of your current collection is COSC certified, and is there a move to increase that percentage?
Right. To begin with, we need to understand the collection structure, to understand why we do what we do. Today, we present ladies' watches, we present sports watches, tool watches, and some watches with technical features.
Yeah.
Now, while the quality parameters, and you know that very well, are very strict at Longines, I only use the Chronometer certification, be it COSC or TimeLab, in collections with technical innovations, such as the Zulu Time, GMT, or the Flyback, or the Ultra-Chron. So for me, the Chronometer certification will remain in key collections where it adds a meaningful value. So we don't use it everywhere, not to dilute its significance.
What place does, because the 5 hertz Ultra-Chron coming back in its kitsch cushion case in this format really surprised me.
Yeah.
And actually, I was on a podcast and I was asked to choose watches within a certain budget, and I went straight to the Longines boutique and chose the Ultra-Chron because nobody knows about this thing. But tell me, where does the 5 hertz development fit into the Longines sort of trophy cabinet? Because it's another big one.
Of course, and I'm glad you bring it up, Andrew, because this is really a major part of our history. So what you have in your hand right now is the reinterpretation of the Ultra-Chron diver, but this edition is in carbon fiber. And then what we're launching now in the markets, and that's a piece that I'm sure collectors would love to have. Going back to why do we give something to the collectors? Definitely, and that's the piece. Here, you have a Longines exclusive movement, 5 hertz, Chronometer certified, a Longines DNA design. You have a folding clasp with the micro adjustment as well. When you look at this, you breathe history, Andrew. You breathe history. You see, and that's what makes Longines so special, is that we are always true to our heritage, always. That's why we don't want to deviate. We don't want to go do something else, because then
You have enough to work from.
not only enough, credibility and authenticity is very important. And therefore, as you said, we have a lot. For us, what inspires our product strategy and development is always elegance. So funky, and again, we have to remain true to who we are. We have to respect our Longines lovers worldwide. And Longines lovers worldwide expect elegance. Elegance, to me, is the thread that connects history to our present, that is relevant across generations, countries, and genders. And therefore, maybe some other brands would do funky designs. But again, we have to be authentic and respect our history. While innovate, of course we would innovate. Today, the example is the piece you're carrying in your hand, the carbon fiber. I mean, that's a very avant-gardist watch. By the look of it, when you look at it.
How much of your movements are, to come to a fine point, Longines exclusive movements and how much of them are standard ETA movements?
The Longines automatic watches, so whether the Ultra-Chron, whether the Flyback, whether the Pilot, whether the Zulu Time, whether the new Prima Luna, are all Longines exclusive movements. Yes, made by ETA. We are part of a fantastic group, the Swatch Group, who gives us access to an amazing technology, cutting edge technology, provided only for Longines, exclusively for Longines. Why would I not build on that?
Why did you take the stars off the dial in the new versions of the Spirit?
Yeah, because if I look at the Spirit here, the pilot watch, as you said, Andrew, earlier, this is a representation of what a tool watch is. And tool watches were, because they were tool, they had the function, they had to be really plain. They had to really serve a purpose without additional aesthetics, let's say. So here you see a clean dial, no date, no stars, just pure and clean. And we feel this is a better representation of what a pilot watch should look like. And that's why we removed the 5 stars from the dial.
Now, obviously, the big change here is wearability in terms of losing some of the heft in the case.
The Flyback that I'm wearing is 13.4 millimeter. That's quite slim for a Flyback movement.
The emotion that I feel right now, looking at what's in front of us, is actually incredible relief and, in a way, a sort of a sense of finally that we have underneath these things, Marcus. This isn't meant to be in the interview. Finally, we have vintage Longines pieces that have been beautifully, lovingly restored. I have to say, not cheap prices. We have 16,900 Swiss francs. We have 11,950 Swiss francs. We have 5,200 Swiss francs. There has not been enough of this.
Yes.
This is a beautiful thing to see. I think this is the best thing, apart from meeting you and enjoying your incredible enthusiasm. I think I've just been sitting here thinking, at last, we pay some respect to this history, to this incredible, I would say, expansive, the history of time, the history of watches is the history of Longines.
Yeah, because these are original pieces. So when you look here, you mentioned...
Where did you source these from?
So we source it from the market.
Right.
Wherever we can buy original pieces in the market, we buy them. You see? And therefore, it's not a quantity that we could have abundantly,
yes, of course,
to cover all the boutiques, and therefore we choose key locations. And why Zurich, for example? But Zurich, with its rich heritage, with what it means, what it symbolizes, I think is a perfect match to our universe, to expose our universe.
Now, a rapid fire couple to finish. What is one product promise you can make to collectors today? Because it doesn't sound like you're going to promise them a 13ZN.
So my promise to our beloved collectors is that we will always respect our heritage, always. And that's very important. We'll always respect our heritage, but we promise you that we'll keep things exciting for you to keep coming and collecting more.
One reference that you just wish more people knew, and a reference that, when you've had a few wines at a dinner party and you're scrolling through your phone saying, look at this Longines. Which one is that?
I would say the Ultra-Chron. I would say totally the Ultra-Chron.
Yeah.
You see, you tried it on your wrist.
It is incredible.
No, you have to, even the classic one, because you see the classic comes in 2 sizes, 37 and 40 millimeter. The moment you put it on your wrist, it speaks volume. And that's a piece that tells a lot about Longines history, and I would love if people knew more about this collection.
Okay. One design cue you're bringing back and one you're retiring.
So bringing back slimmer watches, smaller proportions, and we're retiring oversized, over thick cases. That's what we're gonna do when we started already, as you could see from the collection this year.
Patrick, that is a very honest and frank answer to a very honest and energized interview. What questions do you have for Patrick? This is your forum in the comments. I'm going to have a commitment from you to read the comments.
With pleasure.
And there will be a lot of people that are passionate about the brand in the comments. Thank you for watching this really long and in-depth interview. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Andrew.
It's been an absolute joy.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for your time.
See you on the next video.
Thank you.